Good morning from my side. Yes, my name is Norbert Peherstorfer from Austria, and I think I would like to introduce myself because maybe you know the person who tries to give you some smart advice. So I have a university degree in civil engineering. I'm a certified energy auditor in Austria for buildings and industrial processes. I have an engineering certificate for renewable energies. And from a work experience, maybe which is relevant for our discussion here, I worked several years in a technical design company doing energy systems, biomass boiler systems, energy efficiency, also a little bit wind energy. And the last 10 years, I think I was working mainly as a technical expert for in Eastern European countries for renewable energy and energy efficiency projects. So what type of projects I was involved in as a technical designer? This was a small project in Austria, 150 kilowatt biomass boiler. Existing gas boiler was connected and a 6 cubic meter heat accumulator. Here is the fuel storage, here is the boiler, and it was a nice project. A bigger project was also in Austria, biomass boiler with 2.6 megawatt plus a 2 megawatt gas boiler and quite huge heat accumulator tank. This was installed later after several years of operation because the operator wanted to have a buffer storage to cover the peak loads. And this was a cheaper solution instead of increasing the biomass capacity. It's cheaper than installing a new boiler. And last example, medium project also in Austria, 600 kilowatt biomass boiler, 1 megawatt gas boiler, and it supplies a newly built residential area with low energy buildings. Okay, so let's start with the topic. The topic is actually what are the project roles, what stakeholders are involved in the project implementation. And the most important part is actually the applicant or the municipality or city council usually, and attached to it the project manager. This is the center of the project implementation actually, and these have a core and a very important role. There's a design company who is doing the technical design. The municipality, of course, has a contract with the design company. And next part is the site supervision, and the municipality contracts also the site supervision. And here maybe I would like to add to the discussion before and the importance of the municipality. Yeah? The municipality is responsible and they have it in their hand to contract a proper design company and a proper site supervision company or expert. Yeah? Because the quality of the project depends, of course, also on the experience of the design company and the site supervisor. So the next party is the construction company, and of course there's a contract also from the municipality to the construction company. We as a support team, we are supporting basically the design company, the municipality, and also the site supervisor in their activities. What is not indicated here, usually we do it, in the first phase we did it, we support also and do checks of the construction company, which is indicated here. So the design company is checking the construction company, the project manager, and the site supervisor. And most probably also in the second phase, we will have here also a check of the construction company from time to time. So I think now it starts the boring part of the presentation because the pictures are over. I would like to explain the roles and responsibilities of each party. And let's start with the municipality. Usually the municipality is the beneficiary of this project and also the owner, yeah? The owner of the building, the owner of the street lighting system, the owner of the district heating system. And most important is the municipality should have the highest interest in the high quality project, yeah? Because such infrastructure projects have a very long technical lifetime. We talk about 20 years. And so it's very important to have really high quality design, high quality site supervision, and also the construction company should be experienced. And here I do not really agree with Piotr regarding the technical criteria, because if you think of a building, you design a building for 20 years, yeah? And if you decide now to, instead of 12 centimeter insulation, to go back to 8 centimeters, which saves maybe, I don't know, 5,000 euros investment costs, but you have to live with this wrong decision for 20 years. So it's really makes sense for this long investment to go for a very good solution at the beginning and to make benefit out of it for 20 years. So what are the responsibilities for the municipality? Of course, the financial responsibility is on the municipality side. Yeah? Second important point is the municipality has to appoint a project manager who is the representative of the municipality for this project. And also what is important, the municipality should set up a decision-making structure, because during the project implementation there will arise usually some questions or some issues where you need to take decisions. And if you think of this decision-making structure only during the construction period, you will lose a lot of time. So it's really important to start at the beginning who can do what decision. And of course, responsibility is the contracting of the construction company, technical design, and site supervisor. What else is important? The project manager or the municipality has to provide all relevant information to the site supervisor. Because the site supervisor has to be fully familiar about the project, about the contract, about the tender, about the bill of quantity, and all background documents. Next responsibility is, and we recommend this very much, is to prepare a kick-off meeting at the very beginning of the project implementation with the construction company, project manager, site supervisor, technical design company, to discuss, before the construction company starts, to discuss the project, yeah? To go step by step with the construction company through the technical design, explain what is important, what do you expect, in particular of these weekly meetings, how to report technical issues, so that at the beginning everybody is aware of what is expected. Next is the project manager has to organize these weekly meetings, and he should prepare also a minute of these meetings and disseminate, send it this minute to all parties, that everybody is aware what is going on. And the project manager, of course, should keep the support team updated about the progress. And the last point is there's also a key responsibility for the final acceptance for the municipality and the project manager. And usually the finance acceptance should follow the same these steps. I mean, the construction company announce that the project is finished. Then the site supervisor and the project manager go on site and checks the work. They prepare a report and usually also a list of defects. This list will be handed over to the construction company. The construction company should correct these defects. Then there will be a final check, again by the site supervisor and the project manager. And only then, if everything is okay, the municipality will accept the works. Next party is the technical design company. The technical design company, of course, should be selected based on the tender, and it's important that this company is experienced with advanced energy efficient standards and how to implement the standards within the local legislation and the local norms. So you might need, or the design company might be a little bit creative to implement this, let's say, European standards under the local framework. Sorry. Next is, next responsibility, here. So, the design company has to develop the technical design for sure, and ensure that the construction company implements the works according to the design. They should provide checks and expertise for the municipality. For example, if unforeseen works appears, the technical design company should check if this makes sense, yeah? This request from the construction company. We come later to this. And the design company should also participate in these regular meetings as requested, as it makes sense. Yeah? So I think important is for you also the site supervisor. The site supervisor should be also experienced in this type of technology and in energy efficient standards. He should be fully familiar with the technical design documents, bill of quantity, contract, etc. And this is important that he gets all the information from the project manager and the municipality. He should provide or elaborate an implementation plan about a schedule how to implement the project. He has to ensure that the materials and works comply with the technical design. So he checks the quality of materials, he checks if there are some construction defects, etc. Next responsibility is approving the installation practice at the beginning of the works. This is also a very important step. For example, if the construction company is installing the first window in a building, it makes sense that the project manager and the site supervisor organize a meeting and monitors the works of the construction company for the first window. If this window is done properly, then actually the construction company could do the rest of the windows, because then you can make sure it's very likely that they will install the rest of the windows also in the same style. And you have the chance to correct the installation practices also, I mean, at the very beginning of this installation. Checking of invoices. This is, I think, a little bit different in the countries, but basically there should be somebody who is checking invoices from a technical point of view. Usually, I mean, this is from the European practice, usually the site supervisor checks the invoices before it will be paid from the municipality. The site supervisor provides also expertise to the municipality, for example, unforeseen works. He participates in the regular meetings, of course. He usually prepares also a report and provides this to the support team. He does a photo documentation, what is going on the site, and assessment of the construction works after completion of the works. Here, the site supervisor is also involved in identification of defects, coordination of the correction of the defects, and in preparation of the final report. So let's come to the construction company. It's also important that this is an experienced company. They are responsible for the implementing of the project according to the contract and the technical design. Yeah? They are not doing extra works. They just stick to the contract and the technical design. So whatever is missing in the technical design, you cannot expect the construction company to come up with these additional works. The construction company should also appoint a project manager. He should be obliged to participate in these weekly meetings, and this should be also included in the contract, otherwise he doesn't feel obliged to participate in such meetings. What about additional works and construction defects? The construction company has the obligation that he immediately informs all parties, basically the project manager, the site supervisor, and the technical design company in case of additional works and defects. Yeah? And usually the construction company is obliged to have a kind of logbook to record the ongoing, the issues on the construction site. Yeah? For example, how many workers are on the site, what construction activities were performed, the weather conditions in case of extreme situations, etc. Let's come to unforeseen works. It happens all the time that during the construction works, it appears that unforeseen works needs to be done. And unforeseen works usually means additional budget. And how to deal with such situations. And usually the construction company has to inform all stakeholders in written form immediately. The construction company has to prepare a document that outlines, okay, what activities are planned, what budget is needed for this, and submits this to the project manager and the site supervisor. And as a next step, the site supervisor and the technical design company checks this document and this request and decides or confirm that it is correct, and only then the municipality can approve these additional costs. And as a final note, I think this is the most important part. The construction company will provide only services and works that are really included in the contract. And so it's up to you as a municipality or project manager that all the requirements and procedures are included in the contract, mentioned in the contract. Only then you can expect that the construction company is really doing it. And the final role is the support team. Of course, we do general support of the municipality, but also we support the technical design company and the site supervisor if needed. We can provide templates for TURs, for the site supervisor, reporting templates, etc. And we usually conduct site visits to monitor the progress of the construction works. And we could participate also in meetings as requested by the municipality. So I think I'm at the end of the presentation. So a lot of text, sorry for this. But I hope you could get the one or other important point from you, and if you have some questions, please approach.
Yes, thank you, Maxim. So, first of all, I wanted to clarify the following thing. In fact, we are all interested in reducing the time period for their approval and coordination, both with the support team and the state examination team. And definitely, if we have a ready-made section on design and estimate documents, we should already send it to the support team. That's what you are urging us to do. But we already can foresee that there will be points of time when some sections of project documents are ready only at the end. And my question was going to be the following. Is it possible for us to conduct this approval procedure simultaneously with the support team and at the same time provide the documents following the national procedure? Well, I asked Maxim for me to give the answer because I will tell you more in my presentation, but for 20 years I've been the head of the project organization. And Maxim will tell his opinion from the administrative point of view, and I will tell it from the technical point of view. I think it's not possible to do this. It's absolutely prohibited. Because I was trying to do this, not within ComDAP, within another project, but the designer provides their construction part, we do check it, we provide the comments, and then in 2 weeks the heating part comes, and it is the construction part is considered to have been approved, but in the heating part we give the remarks, and there is some reinforcement of the structure, and then comes the ventilation part in 2 weeks, and you need to provide reinforcement of the roof, and then you need to go back to the beginning, and in fact that's complete chaos, and that is only loss of time, and the procedure of coordination and approval gets much, much longer. Why is the procedure generally so tedious and so long? I mean, the process of approval and coordination, because we have certain reasons for this. For example, there comes some documents when you start checking it, you just want to hit someone who was developing it and someone who sent it for verification. And the number of remarks generally for project documents is about 100, 150 remarks, which are only the major ones. So do you imagine how much time should be spent and is spent on looking for correspondences to legislative requirements and to holding some consultations with narrow specialists, competent specialists? That is because of bad quality of documents. And the other reason is that sometimes the team of the project does not work jointly, so to say. Let's try to be honest. I ask all the project managers to do it. Just the designer has provided you the documents to the team of the project. And what is the date when just record the date when when remarks are obtained, then when you react to it, and you will find it out that 95% of the time the ball is in the territory of the project team. I mean Ukrainian projects. There are some remarks, but a response to them comes in about a month or a month and a half. And or there is a remark that, okay, you are trying to delay the whole process, but we need to do it by the end of the week. And again, you ask one question, nobody answers you, and the answer comes in a month's time. So that is where the reason for the delay lies. But for some rare exceptions, no project is provided in time, and the main reason is not the lack of competence of the designer, but the bad work, not coordinated work of the project team. For example, in street lighting, we have we found one of the problem which was not voiced at the beginning, and now the designer cannot actually perform the task, because if there is no map you cannot check how it's going to be working. And also, I saw it in your project, and I wanted to discuss it. As you have a strange technical solution, and my colleague from Moldova has mentioned that let's have each third lamp functioning. But there is national legislation, and for the roads of a certain class, there is an established, well-established level of lighting. The EU does not provide money for some situational things. It provides the money for demonstration projects, which would comply with the national legislation at least. And in your case, clarification of all the issues will take a lot of time. And therefore, I'm trying to get to what I started with. It's impossible to coordinate the project in parts. That's what I'm telling you as an expert, a technical expert. That is just delay of time. There is no acceleration at all. And Maxim will tell his answer from the administrative point of view. Well, I can just agree. We're trying to do it section by section, as Andrei has mentioned, but practice shows that it doesn't work. And really, it leads to longer period of coordination and approval. And I would also try to draw your attention to the following point, the fixation, the recording of your dates. Well, yes, you need to really record the day when, for example, you supply the full package of documents, you or the designer, because it may happen that you sent a part of documents and the expert said that I cannot check the documents until I have some explanatory notes, until I have the ventilation part or some other part or full document, and you may be sending it through 3 weeks, and then the team of the project will say that we sent it 3 weeks ago, while in fact you finished sending it just yesterday. And I'm going to tell you that if these conditions are fulfilled and if the project needs to be coordinated in full scope, then the first table with the comments, with the remarks, will be provided to you within 10 working days. In practice, we're trying to do this even within a week, if there are no emergencies or if there are no special training. So we do it within a week. On a repeated basis, a repeated revision of the project majorly depends on you. And that's what we are trying to show the designers and the project managers. Like there is a table. The expert indicates the number of the state standard, then writes his remarks. And we expect the same format of your answer, or the answer of the designer. Specifically, he states what kind of amendments have been introduced into what part, because quite often you just write that corrected, amended, and that's no specific information. Sometimes there may be a different letter and the numbers are different. So this repeated examination is also a very complicated thing to do. If the project team or the designer does not provide a clear answer what amendments were made and in what exact item. Also, as far as documents are concerned, like tender documents, if you make some amendments on the basis of our recommendations, and if you do it in the review format for us to have a chance to quickly check what has been changed. That makes our work much easier. Maxim and Andrei, here is one more clarifying issue. I had the second point of the question. If, let's say, our documents are ready in full scope, and you then can have coordination following the national procedure and coordination with the support team, or shall we first have these documents approved by the support team and only then by the national examination team, or vice versa? I will try to explain explain the procedure. I don't know your legislation. I don't know how you work with the examination offices. I've generally not worked many times with your country. Our team will provide some remarks, and definitely the cost will change, and the design will change. And if you have already supplied it to the National Examination Office, and how do you explain to your National Examination Office that, okay, what we supplied was wrong? No, I think that it's better to still get clear first with us and then with your national offices. You can do it at the phase of some repeated examination, probably. Like, you get the remarks, you give responses to them, you discuss these by Skype, and you see that only some trivial things are left. Then you can do it. But before you get the main remarks, I don't think there is any point in doing this, because there may be drastic changes in your design or in your design and estimate documents. I had to deal with designing of some projects in the first phase, and then was trying to coordinate it with Norbert and some other experts. The cost increased almost 1.5 times. So, of course, it was impossible to first submit these documents or simultaneously submit these documents to the national office. I don't think that you will anyway accelerate the procedure this way. I also wanted to stress that at the age of coordination and approval of design and estimate documents with the support team, you need to record the dialogue with us to the fullest extent possible, because besides our remarks, we still have the expert report about the examination of documents with all the remarks, with all the comments, with the indication of the pages, numbers of sheets, and what specifically is wrong there, what the remark was. Therefore, what we would like to get from you is that the remarks are also commented in this document in an arbitrary form. You may do it as an annex, as an additional column in the same table, the way you want it, but do it there. It's really necessary to clearly formulate all those changes.
I have a question. Norbert mentioned in his presentation that site supervisor should be selected based on the competitive tender procedures. So it's an obligation, because we are planning within our project that Kote, who was involved in the energy audit, to be a site supervisor. Is it possible, or it should be external person selected by tender procedure?
Norbert, would you like to reply?
I think as long as of course you have to stick also to the national legislation, but actually the site supervisor, the municipality has to trust the site supervisor, because the site supervisor has to ensure that the quality is
you said
okay.
The municipality should be, but I'm sure that our municipality said that it's your choice. We are.
Maybe your setup of the project is a little bit different, but you are in the responsibility that you provide actually a final good quality product to the municipality. Yes. So it's in your interest that you deliver a good product to the municipality, and you should make sure that the site supervisor you select is able to provide all these services, in your interest.
Yes.
So he should be experienced. This is the most important issue, actually.
Yes. That's why, because the Kote has big experience in energy audits, also he has knowledge in terms of energy efficiency standards and etc. etc.
Yes.
That's why it will be difficult to find in Georgia also such. And also we have a budget, because if we will hire an external person, it needs additional finance.
Yeah. So in this case, it's not needed. If you're satisfied with the experience and with this person,
okay,
go with him. Yeah.
Thank you.
But I think European Commission requires competitive conditions for selection of stakeholders, especially in construction process. No, because I participated a few monitoring missions here in Ukraine. I supported delegation, and I think they are requesting some protocols how technical supervisor was selected, and they are appreciating when it was done using competitive rules. So at least you have to do some papers that selection formally was done on competitive rules.
On top of what my colleagues said, technical supervisor or supervision company should also have the licenses and certificates which are required by your code requirements and norms. Because energy audit company does a bit different kind of work. The scope is a bit different. They are mainly assessing the energy components of the building, but site supervisor is more technical. It's more related to construction, monitoring, and providing recommendations and acceptance of the works and etc. So you need to see if that particular company does have the certificates and licenses which your legislation requires or not.
So the answer is like you have to check this legal frameworks regarding site supervisor, because I see like an option when Kotek could be hired as technical expert and as a part of the project team, and who will be involved in site supervision from the side of project team. So he can easily participate in these weekly meetings. He can provide supervision from the side of project, but still we have like obligation to have this person who has specified license and so on, who can carry out these activities related to the site supervision. He's the legal point of view, I would say.
Можно я добавлю 2 секунды? Українськам, колеги з України.
Colleagues from Ukraine, please pay attention to the fact that in the Ukrainian legislation we have an amendment on the budget which is to be spent on technical supervision, on site supervision could be split, and the functions of site supervision could be performed by several people, not one person. So you can arrange a site supervision group. And also you can hire a specialist who would be a technical advisor, technical consultant. These would be people with special certification who could accompany their project not just at the construction phase and quality control stage, but at the stage of writing the terms of reference, compilation of the contract. So this person could deal with this, and you could involve the person and pay for his services. And the same as Maxim said, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that within your project you already have a technical specialist, and it is him who should perform these functions. I could only add that according to the Ukrainian legislation, site supervision cannot be performed by the design company or the contractor company. If the energy auditor company has a person who has got the certificate for site supervision, it's okay, but it's not prohibited according to the Ukrainian legislation. But check it in your legislation.